And we're back. We're joined on the phone today by Jim McBride, better known as Mr. Skin. We're talking about a new film he's involved in, Skin, A History of Nudity in the Movies. Hey Jim, how you doing today?
Hey Dustin, how's it going, man?
It's good. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a big week. Very excited.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the new film here, Skin, A History of Nudity in the Movies. Can you tell the listeners a bit about it?
Yeah, it's a documentary that chronicles nudity in the movies from, the Thomas Edison when he invented the motion picture camera all the way through the Me Too movement. And, I've always known that there had never been a documentary on this subject, but it wasn't until the last couple of years where I put a team together to actually, tackle this documentary. And as you know, we're in the golden age of documentaries. I mean, we're all watching documentaries all the time, like The Last Dance on ESPN, or HBO just did I'll Be Gone in the Dark, or Tiger King, whatever it is. That's become the new water cooler talk, our documentary. So I think the timing is great. It had never been done before. I think that the hard part is doing this so that it's you learn a lot. It's not exploitive, but it's also at the same time titillating. And I think we've bridged that or walked that fine line. The reviews have said so. We're getting incredible reviews, and even with the best intentions, it's easy to fall into exploitation. Yet, I think we were able to do it by all the critics, scholars, film industry vets, and of course actors and actresses that we were able to interview to really do this in a way where you're going to learn a lot, but also you're going to get over 100 male and female nude scenes in one documentary. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's definitely, as you mentioned, more than just a compilation of nude scenes. I was fascinated by the early films and the Hays Code. It delves a lot with censorship, all that kind of stuff.
No, you're hitting on what a lot of people have been telling me is, and myself included. Like I knew about the Hays Code. I knew that there were nude scenes before the Hays Code, but I didn't really have an appreciation for how much sex and nudity there was prior to 1934. In even Audrey Munson in 1915 did a movie called Purity. She was a big famous model actress of that era. Clara Bow won the movie Wings, won Best Picture. The first Oscar for movies in 1927. She was topless. Clara Bow, the It Girl, was topless in that. Hedy Lamarr in Ecstasy chasing the horse completely naked. Like, people watching this documentary can't believe, when we're in the early part of the documentary, what was going on before the Hays Code and the Legion of Decency made it 30 years of no nudes in the United States in movies,
Yeah, it's interesting to see, everyone was offended by nudity in films early on, but then also these films were hugely popular, so obviously there's some kind of hypocrisy going on there.
Yeah, we talk about how, the Catholic Church would make these ratings in the 1920s, and they'd say, these are movies you should watch, these are movies that are a little on the fence, these are movies you absolutely shouldn't watch, which was an easy way for all the churchgoers to just figure out what movies they should watch, and they became very popular. It was like getting a reverse rating that would help your box office, right?
Well, again, Jim McBride with us, and the film Skin, A History of Nudity in the Movies is out, and it's funny to see sex and nudity always shunned in public, but behind closed doors, it's really kind of helped popularize, film, home video, VCRs, the internet. I mean, you can kind of make that argument, I think, that the censorship always kind of backfires.
Yeah, it always does. And one of the things, too, that people will find interesting about this documentary is, we, early on in the doc, when we're discussing the Me Too movement, before we kick back into the history, is they nowadays have a thing called an intimacy coordinator on the sets of movies and television shows, pre-COVID, right, since the Me Too movement. And what that is it helps actresses. There's someone on set that makes sure that the director doesn't go outside of what was promised to the actor or actress in the scene as far as nudity and sex, but also just to have someone there to ask questions, to make sure there's someone on your side. It's in direct contrast when we talk to, say, Diane Franklin from Last American Virgin, or we talked to Linda Blair, who was in a women in prison movie called Chained Heat, about what they had to deal with on set. And it's really one of the good things you see in this documentary, how much more empowered women are as far as what happens on the set of a movie than it was, say, in the 1980s, for instance.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where things go from now with the culture the way it is. One thing I was interested in is how you managed to get all the clips that you used. I mean, you've got footage from the late 1800s all the way up till today. I mean,
Yeah.
what are the legalities, I guess, involved with something like that?
No, well, it's really a fair use argument, but a lot of that stuff, I got to tell you, it's not like you could go to Amazon and find a movie from Thomas Edison's era, so we had to do a lot of digging through historical, collectors, historical movie sites and stuff and find this, but it's pretty cool. But like I said, I was so surprised how much nudity there was in the tens and teens and 20s in movies in 1910s, teens, and 20s. I was surprised by that, and I think a lot of people will be too.
Well, again, Skin, A History of Nudity in the Movies is out. Definitely fascinating. And Jim, I wish we had some more time, but again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No problem, Dustin. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And again, that was Mr. Skin, Jim McBride, and his new film, Skin, A History of Nudity in the Movies, is available now.